Hello everybody, this is your writing tutor here, and I just wanted to share a little resource I crafted about creating a thesis. This is probably the most requested thing that students have for me when they come in for tutoring. So I thought, why not make a little resource trying to break down, how I've conceptualized or broken down writing a thesis. Of course, as always, if you have any questions or you want me to look over your thesis, you are more than welcome to send me a text or email, and I'll be happy to help. All right, so let's start with why you need a thesis statement. Some people are like, I'll just skip it altogether, right? Because it's really tricky, it's a pain in my butt, why would I need it? Well, it kind of tests your ideas. It kind of gives everybody your ideas ahead of time by putting them into one sentence at the end of your introduction to be like, hey, this is what the paper is going to be about. It kind of guides them through what your paper is going to answer and helps them better understand the content of your paper. This also can help you better organize and develop your argument, because as long as you're going back to this thesis, if it's done right, it will also help you prevent yourself from going off topic on the paper. What's it do? Well, like I said, it sums up the main point in your paper. It tends to be one sentence long, but sometimes it could be two. I would never go past the two, then it gets really wordy and then we have a little bit of a problem. And as I said, it does appear at the end of your introduction. It is the last sentence. It really goes, okay, I've introduced things, and here's the meat and potatoes we're about to dive into. Another thing it does is it answers the prompt. If your teacher has a prompt for the assignment, a question they're asking you to answer, it should be answering that prompt. How do we write one? Well, I've color-coded it here and kind of broken it down into some very bare bones. First, you're going to want to, and this can also be done out of order, but typically you'd first mention the main topic of your paper. If you're focusing on analyzing one specific piece of media, if you're researching one specific topic, that would be the yellow component of your paper. Then you want to take your position or state your argument, if it's an argumentative piece. So that's you going, okay, this is my answer to the question I'm being asked about this topic. I'm saying, yes, cats are better than dogs. Or I'm saying, no, cats are not better than dogs. That's my position. That's the argument. That's what I'm going to argue in this paper. And then I'm going to summarize the evidence I'm going to use to support my point. Now this one's a little trickier. We want to make sure that we're not listing our evidence, and we want to make sure that we're not giving too much information. So this is a little broad, but basically this is taking the core component of each main paragraph, your body paragraphs, and giving a little snippet to the audience. So I might say, according to the ASPCA, or the ASPCA helps me prove that cats are better than dogs because they smell less, the rate they get ticks and fleas is lower, and they're friendlier overall. Now, this is no evidence-based, this is just an example, of course, but you'll see my main topic of the ASPCA, which is probably where I'm grabbing my evidence. My position or stance is that cats are better than dogs, and then my evidence is, the three things that I provided. That's just a short example. Here are some questions you can ask after you've written or before you've written your thesis statement. Did I answer all parts of the prompt? If the prompt has more than one question in a single prompt, you should be making sure that you're answering both questions. Did my statement contain all the main points I'm going to use to support that answer, right? So am I bringing up all of my body paragraphs gently in my thesis statement? And then, does my statement inform the reader what will be discussed in the paper? So, am I missing anything big, right? Is there a hidden paragraph that's going to go on a tangent about hippos? Hopefully not. Because if there's something about hippos and it makes sense for the prompt, it should also be mentioned in your thesis. What if you don't have a prompt? Now, for English courses, usually you will have a prompt. Sometimes it's hard to find the prompt, though. Sometimes the professor will kind of hide it in the assignment. Hopefully not always. But sometimes you won't have a prompt. Your thesis statement should still be answering a question about an issue that you'd like to explore. So a good thesis statement will usually have most of the 4 attributes. It's going to address a subject. For argumentative essays, people can disagree on this subject, right? They can take what you're saying and go, well, I don't agree with that. Or they can take that subject and go, yeah, I totally agree with that. It needs to deal with a subject that is linked to the nature of the assignment. So even if there's no question they're asking you, the assignment is going to have certain requirements, and you're going to want to make sure whatever you're answering in your paper reflects that assignment. It should have one main idea, so we don't want to overload it with a gazillion ideas. So as long as it has one main topic to focus on, and then some little ones underneath it, if you will, that link to the big one. And it should state your conclusions about the subject, meaning it should be very... You don't want to leave the reader up to the imagination. You want to be like, I'm answering all these questions, and I'm tying everything up. By the end of this paper, you're not going to have questions about what I've gone over. Here are some examples. I'm going to call these good thesis statements solely because I got perfect hundreds on these essays. So take it with a grain of salt. Every teacher grades differently, but these thesis statements were good enough to not take points off on my paper. Let's start with the first one. Netflix's show Wednesday, my main topic, I was talking about the show Wednesday, contains underlying themes of the power of female independence, the upturning of gender stereotypes, the variations of maternal treatment, and the redirection of attention through the disbelief of female voices. These themes shine throughout the show, promoting the female voice and advocating that it be heard more frequently in larger spaces. Now, this is 2 sentences long, but it all reads as one big chunk. You'll notice this is a very long thesis. This was for an 11-page research paper, so you might not have this many blue evidence sections. Usually I'd recommend maybe 3 things in your blue section, but I've got like 4 or 5, solely because it was a very long paper. You'll notice that I'm advocating and arguing that this show is promoting the female voice and saying it should be heard more frequently. And my evidence is all of these underlying themes and showcases of character. I did a poetry thesis. Football by Lewis Jenkins. That's a poem. It uses prose poem formatting, metaphors, and an overarching narrative to demonstrate how sometimes leisure must be traded for hard work to ensure stability and success. So, my argument is that the theme of this paper is leisure needs to be traded in for hard work, right? The hard work prevails. And my evidence is the prose poem format, its use of metaphors, and its overarching narrative. Here are some review papers. I dox my English MO1B honors teacher. Sorry, Mrs. Tenenhouse. We love Professor Tenenhouse. In Tracy Tenenhouse's English MO1B honors critical thinking and comprehension course at Moorpark College, that's the topic, obviously, the literature used throughout the class teaches better awareness of modern-day issues through proper depictions of minorities, modernization of older themes of the past, and how art and literature can be interwoven to depict modern themes in society. So I'm reviewing my professor's class. I'm saying that it teaches a better awareness of modern day issues, and I'm saying that it does that by better depicting minorities, modernizing old themes, and using the literature and art to show those modern themes. I did a review of a play. The Moorpark College Theater Arts Department does a wonderful job with Tempest. The Tempest is my topic. It encapsulates its complex and vibrant story through its unique usage of casting, set pieces, and lighting. So I'm using casting, set pieces, and lighting to prove that it is encapsulating this complex and vibrant story through its theater performance. If you have any questions, feel free to stop on by for an appointment with me. You could email me. You could text me. All of those are great options. I check my text messages once a day, sometimes twice if I'm feeling crazy. I check my email all the time because it's linked to my phone. So it's actually easier to reach me quickly via email, but you'll still reach me within 12 hours roughly via text. So hopefully if you have any questions or you want me to look over your thesis, you will swing on by, and hopefully this helped out a little bit. Have a nice day, guys. See you around.